Hello, everyone, and welcome again to the Business Freedom Formula. Today's guest is Karey Casto-Chrin. We're going to turn it over to her in a minute. But Karey, I have an opening question I want to ask you, and that is this. What are you currently working on, or are you working on anything really exciting right now?
So I recently, in the fall of 2024, won a global recognition award for being the pioneer of bringing a CBD topical to the table that is not cannabis. I'm also working on beautybox.com because in the process of founding this amazing alternative, I created 250 products that are all clean and natural beauty that launched on Broadway right next to Barney's, New York. So I had to figure it out how to give customers and beauty seekers a chance to try my products without being overwhelmed because I'm pretty much the new I'm like Ulta Beauty, Estee Lauder. I am it. I have the all from cosmetics to skincare.
Okay.
But the hops products are my biggest
Okay. So
achievement.
tell us about your hops products. I found that interesting when we chatted before we started the interview about the use of hops. So those are the same thing that you find in beer, correct?
Correct. So I actually worked in a couple different breweries in the state of Michigan. We are known for our brew boom because there's a lot of hops that grow in Michigan. And the brewer I worked at, when I finally decided just to focus on my dream, my skincare brand and being a cosmetic chemist, we were forced to go through a study, we had to go through a schooling, which is Cicerone. So while I was going through Cicerone, I was finding out all these things about the hops. And we were also bringing back a really interesting place in Michigan called Jackson. It's known as Prison City. So I founded this finding in Jackson, Michigan. Um, I went to the founder of Grand River, which was the brewery I worked at, John Birdka, and I said, "Do you mind if I make a lip balm that tastes like our flagship beer to make a little bit more money, extra money during the holidays?" Because I was going through a really nasty custody battle. And he said, "Absolutely, Karey, but it better taste just like monkey mouth." So I'm sitting there researching and researching how you just can't order a flavor oil for this. I can make the best lip balm ever because I've been in this, the making cosmetics for years, but I needed to make it taste like monkey mouth. So after doing a bunch of click searching and write the right keywords, I stumble on a study out of Canada. So far, it's a doctrine study that I was like, shut the front door right now. Because everyone knows in order to get a big cosmetic buyout, you have to have a proprietary ingredient no one else has ever touched. Drunk Elephant, $585 million she was bought out for because she used marula oil.
Who was this?
Drunk Elephant. It's a cosmetic brand.
Oh,
She was bought
okay.
out by Shiseido. It's all public information, $585 million because
Okay.
she found a proprietary ingredient. So here I'm in the state that's about to legalize cannabis, Michigan, and you're in California. So you understand because you were way before us.
Right.
So now we're about to legalize it recreational at the time of the finding of the CBD alternative. So CBD is everywhere. Everyone's wanting to try the CBD. I'm like, it's hemp oil, you guys. Like, I mean, I've been using it in products forever. We just never called it CBD, right? It's just a good
Right.
oil. So nonetheless, I stumble on this thing, hops. I'm like, you've got to be joking me, because my clicks put me there.
Mhm.
And I shut the door or shut the book on the lip balm. It never happened. And I went and bought a purple laptop and drew my logo, which came from the periodic table of elements. And that's when Hopathekarey was born
Okay.
in 2017. So I was like, what do I do though? But I'm already a cosmetic chemist because I worked for my sister who owns a mineral makeup company for 3 years. I sold a cosmetic company, which I actually created on this lake on Lake Drive back in 2013. I worked with a lady, and so I got to learn how to formulate with $100,000 of someone else's money, and it was
Nice.
her business.
Nice.
So, we're still great friends, and I can't wait to bring her along. Diamond in the Rough was the final name for it because she actually sold B Aesthetics, which was the original branding that I got the investors for $1. So she could give her ex-husband 50-cent royalties on his $50,000 investment. True story. Gotta love the lady. She's amazing.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
but like I said, it wasn't my business because I wasn't ready to have anything or even do it. I needed to learn more. And so, nonetheless, fast forward to 2019 by their dad, while with my mom, their grandma.
Mhm.
And I'm still working that same job, still hustling. I never stopped. I never quit. I just kept going. So a lot of the names of the products that were created while letting the secret sauce go dormant, because now Johnson and Johnson can buy the idea from me. They can't steal it because I
Mhm.
never talked about it. I
Okay.
never made the lip balm. I just worked my way up to event coordinator instead, right? And I became an event coordinator at Grand River, the brewery. And everyone knew I was making this product. I gave it out to everyone. I said, this is going to launch on Broadway someday. Because I let the alpha beta, which is the hops products, go dormant like a hop. Because it was so little bit of research done. And I know you got to do research and development. And I created what I knew from selling that skincare company. And I made a skincare brand or a skincare collection called the Liberties. Lady Liberty, Little Liberty for my daughter Viola Shalom, and Lady Justice, which I've taken off the table right now for rightful reasons. Um, and then I created the Bulletproof Minerals, which is my cosmetic brand, like collection, which made me an official brand.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, my sister owns a mineral makeup company. So I
Mm.
knew I wanted mineral makeup. I worked for her for 3 years, but I knew she would be like, oh, she stole my ideas, right? So I was like, I've got to have just a couple products, some bronzer, because that's all I liked, and a little powder for my face, because I don't like a lot of makeup.
Mhm.
It's it suffocates your skin. You shouldn't make yourself up. You should be you with a little improvement. Nonetheless, I found these crazy spray bottles. I'm like, oh, so this fixes everything. You can't contaminate it. You can't oxidize it.
Mhm.
What do I call it? Bulletproof minerals. And it's a spray cosmetic, right? So you spray it on. It's makeup easy enough to put on in a garage and at the lake.
Mhm.
There's actually a TikTok somewhere about that with me and my
Okay.
neighbor Joe, who's no longer with us. But yeah, so that is actually what made me an official brand. So I used to hashtag flying solo, and flying solo found me because I fly solo. My kids were kidnapped. I'm alone most of the time, and I usually have a solo cup in my hand.
Mhm.
So, nonetheless, they find me. I had to put these products in front of a global board, the Liberties, and they launched on Broadway in 2023. So
Nice.
that's where the journey actually really began.
Okay.
So that's why so I launched on Broadway, a 3 month launch. I didn't go out there, which I probably should have, but because of the custody battle, you got to be careful about every move you make.
Mhm.
So
I
I
think so.
didn't go to New York. I used to live out there. I would have loved to go there, but I'll end up there anyways someday. You know what I mean? Again, I've already been there. It's not like it was my dream to go to New York. It was
Right.
my product dream to go to New York, which made me an official brand. So right after Flying Solo accepted me, Amazon reaches out and they're like wanting me to apply for this influencer program. I'm like, I don't even shop Amazon because nothing I do came from Amazon. Come on, I'm thrift shopping to buy Versace and Gucci and Dior and thrift shops all over the state of Michigan. I went out to Utah and I found some Gucci out there because the Mormons, they don't like snakes. So they'd sell Gucci for like 99 cents.
Mm.
Anyways, kind of an interesting whole thing. Yeah, this is how the brand was born, like a whole thing. So that happened, the Broadway launch. Amazon reached out, they accept me immediately. So then I end up being brand partners with 600 global brands. So I'm dealing with China now. I'm dealing with where they're just sending me things to create content, which is
Okay.
also interesting, right?
Mhm.
Because I was already educated with my brand because I had my uncle who was in Humboldt County, California, invested. And then he passed away from COVID.
Now, see, that would have been your source of CBD right there, Humboldt County, California.
Yeah, well, that's
That's a
not just
big
CBD.
marijuana
That's
growing
some
section.
crazy stuff going on there. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
he owned the billiards channel, which is he was a big pool player,
Okay,
billiards. Loved
sure.
it. He was actually the founder of the outdoor pool table and major entrepreneur, but he died from COVID. A lot of weird stuff happened throughout the whole thing from between, I would say, 2019 when Hopathekarey was born, because like that's where I was at. Hop had Apothecary
Hmm.
is the skincare. Then Indigo found the money, the skincare banner.
Hmm.
And mom, we do it all. I'm like, I just heard the term umbrella. We should umbrella ourselves. What am I going to call it? And it came to me like this: apothecary.
Yeah.
And that's who we are now. We, even though they're still kidnapped because they were kidnapped again, and I'm not cold about it. I just have learned not, I've learned how to be able to communicate about it because I wish unknown. It's the worst crime under the sun to take children from someone just because you don't like them or because you want something from them is terrible. But I'm still hustling on this because when he kidnapped them, he didn't just take them. He took their educations. He
Yeah.
took everything. So I have to build a future for these adults someday, right? Who are incredible. So nonetheless, yeah, it's just been rolling. So my mom is this crazy hustler, right? She's interesting. She's the Hallmark lady. Tragedy galore, let me tell you. The woman has survived through everything. And she calls me one day and she said, hey, I've got to do this secret shop at Rue 21 at the Westwood Mall. Will you come with me? Because there's nothing I want there. I was like, Mom, you never let us buy anything at Rue 21 because it fell apart. It did. It fell apart. The threads came out. My parents were quality versus quantity kind of people, right?
Sure,
If you
sure.
like it,
Makes
we're
sense
going to
to
buy
me.
quality versus quantity.
Right.
So a lot of people who shop those small, the stores 10 and under or whatever, you're getting quantity, not quality. That's a fact, unless you're thrifting for like high end. So I said, all right, mom, let's do it. I said, by the way, I have a pair of shoes from Amazon I'd like you to do. So we go to the Westwood and she does her little walkthrough with the shoes right by Applebee's. And then we go to do our her secret shop at the Route 21. And I hear a large garage door closing. And it's one of the first ever Bath and Body Works closing. And that's unheard of, especially when you're a skincare brand for all these years. So I got a hold of the mall and I was like, I saw the Bath and Body Works closed. So I have one of the old Bath and Body Works, like the wood stores, like the old ones that make themselves look like they're natural, but it's considered a
They,
red checkered stores
they
actually.
kind of want to look like a country store, right?
It's the red checkered stores, because now that's against the law for them to have, like, they were sued, so now they have to have the blue checkers. So Bath and Body Works went from red checkers to blue checkers. So I actually have the last standing red checkered Bath and Body. Because
Okay.
Jackson, Michigan fought for it for so long, because in their eyes, that was all the natural they knew. And they were doing 40, I want to say it was $440,000 before they shut those gates. And they had to. They kept it open as long as they could. I still have a bunch of their ribbons in there that are all blue checkered, by the way. I'm like, what the heck? But I'm done with this mall, 2 years. So it did play a part in my business, because through that, I woke up every day. I showed up every day. I didn't have a staff. I did it all on my own. 7 days a week, I'm there. And I ended up getting on cast on 2 TV shows through it. One was Pitch Your Way to the Top, America's Next Best Thing, with one of the original sharks from Shark Tank, Kevin Harrington.
Okay.
I stood in front of Rudy Mauer. I don't know if you know who that is, but
No.
he's an interesting guy. He lives his life in red. He's a serialpreneur from Miami, Mauer Group. I was supposed to be in front of Forbes Riley. They kicked her off to put me in with Brandon Adams, who has won awards for entrepreneurship, and Kevin Harrington. At the same day that I onboarded to that show, I was accepted to another show called The Blocks. So I'm part of season 18 of The Blocks. Host is Wes Bergamo, who was a reality TV star as well, from the reality Real World MTV, old school, Dallas. So yeah, I ended up going to both. I did the pitch, which was probably the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. But it was awesome. But in the beginning, literally, when we were all having coffee together after checking in and realizing we're the 30 of us, because they only chose 30 people, and there was a
Okay.
lot of applicants. I ended up getting put in second into the tank, and I didn't even have my makeup on. And I'm a beauty brand, but it's okay because I don't wear a lot of makeup. I'm the most basic beauty brand there is. But I had a lot of hiccups along the way to get to that show. I bought a vintage lockbox. That was a mistake. I had to have the guy at the hotel help me unlock the lockbox. All my skincare was in it, and it was not budging. Crazy. It must have been like a Chanel that without a name on it. This was someone's lockbox, because nothing was. There was no way I was cracking it open. So the maintenance guy did it the day before, but nonetheless, yeah. So I went on that and I did my pitch, got third and second, met a ton of cool entrepreneurs. And then a month later in 2024, I went out to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and spent 7 days in a casino hotel where we had a lot of rules, by the way. We were not allowed to talk to anyone outside the blocks. And how do you decipher who's outside the blocks? But we would have got kicked off the show. I made it all 7 days. Thank you very much. Because I was like, I'm just not talking to anyone unless I'm down there in our little pod group. I'm not going to speak with anyone. I'm not going to gamble here. Like, we're good. And I ended up making it to grad school out of the whole blocks experience. Have I went through all the curriculum that I have? No. And I actually paid to go to grad school in Kansas City, but I opted out. I'm still a big part of grad school. And Wes is like, you're the first one in history that's done this. Didn't ask for a refund, didn't ask for anything. I just opted out of going to Kansas City because I just felt like I'd met the people I needed to meet out in Oklahoma for those 7 days. At the time being in this custody battle, I just felt like I just shouldn't. Kansas City, I've got the curriculum.
Hmm.
You can overwhelm yourself with curriculum sometimes.
So how did all of these experiences help you in developing your product or your pitch or um, what you're trying to do with your business? I mean, obviously you've had some exposure to some people who have some celebrity, maybe some clout even within within certain circles anyway. You can probably get introductions I would think. Have you leveraged any of that in,
They're watching me grow,
okay,
and growth is a thing because you can't just become a billion-dollar brand
sure,
without having those things behind you. That's a fact.
yeah,
Or else you're just a farmer's market person.
right.
No offense to the farmer's market people, because I do give you a high five, but if you're making your skincare in microwaves, you probably need to just check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because for one thing, it's not good skincare. But yeah, it's helped me because I have connections like you wouldn't believe. I have
Mhm.
free courses all the time. I'm constantly running into new connections. But and like the long or the short, I guess, short form of the story is that I'm being groomed for something bigger
Okay,
because you can't just open your doors and think just because you have the $1 billion idea, you're going to make the $1 billion. That's not a real thing.
no,
That is a fantasy. That is false. You have to struggle. You have to be broke as all get out. You have to do things most people would never do in their lives. You know what I mean? Like live with
mhm,
your mom. I lived with my mom for a long time, and my mom's quite the,
yeah.
she's wonderful.
And
She's
you
my
have,
mom.
and I'm sure you've experienced this, and I have talked to other entrepreneurs who have told me the same thing, is is essentially you have to be not afraid to fail,
Failure is
because
every day. You fail every day.
failure teaches you more than success. It's kind of like, let's use an analogy of learning to ride a bicycle. It was all that time falling off that really taught you how to keep that thing balanced and going, so that you can put the bicycle away and 30 years later get on the bicycle, and guess what? You can ride it and you're not falling off because you've taken the time and you've had the failures. And I think it's the same thing in business. And it doesn't necessarily mean like a serial entrepreneur who starts something and fails and starts another one and fails and starts another one and fails. Although that may be some people's journey. Other people's journey may be more like Thomas Edison and the light bulb. I tried this idea, it didn't work. I tried another one, it didn't work. I tried another one, it didn't work. Or excuse me, I discovered a way that won't work. Let me see if I can discover another way that won't work. You know, and to the point where you work at one thing to the point where you finally get it to go. And too many people, I think, give up too quickly, or they think it's going to get big fast, and then they're disappointed when it doesn't.
Or they try and copy other people,
Yeah.
which is a real error. That's the biggest error you can make in entrepreneurship. That an entrepreneur doesn't find someone to copy and call themselves an entrepreneur. That's
Mm-hmm.
just a copycat. Um, it's yeah, you're right. I still remember when my mom taught me to ride a bike. I
Yeah.
know right where it was.
Yeah. And you know, there's, someone once said, I can't remember who did, that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. But still, you have to have your own spin on things. You have to have your own flavor, your own, what separates you from the rest of the pack that makes you stand out. There's a concept called being in the blue water. You live next to a lake, okay? The blue water in this analogy is where you want to be as a business owner. You're the only one in the lake and the only one people come to. You want to stay out of the red water because that's where everybody is. And they're beating each other to death, figuratively, in competition and whatever, while you're in here in the blue water area getting higher prices, much better margins, and a clientele that appreciates that and what you do. And You know, essentially, that's where we all want to be. I don't know that we can all be in blue water, but a lot of us need to try. And I think that's probably where your product is. Your product is probably, there's lots of skincare out there. Every female celebrity, it seems like in the last 20 years, has started either perfume or some kind of skincare or hair care line. So you're competing with names that are household.
Big celebrities. Yeah.
And yet,
I tell
and
people
yet,
that all the time.
and yet you found a niche that separates you from everybody else in a very positive way that I can see probably sets you apart, which is why you ended up on Broadway.
Craziest thing ever. I mean, I was at the Phantom of the Opera. I was so mad about that birthday present that time too. I'm going to a Phantom of the Opera. Oh my gosh. One thing I regret in life is ever being like, you bought me opera tickets for my birthday. Because I didn't know. But I got to see Phantom of the Opera right on Broadway years ago. Then my products launched on Broadway. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
it's just how life happens. And you have to
yeah,
embrace life and really just accept the bad things that happen, the good things that happen, because we all get curveballs thrown at us. That's called life.
yeah.
But I decided to follow the light. And I don't even, it was probably like, it had to have been after the second kidnapping that I was like, oh my gosh. And I had an epiphany. I actually watched a show on repeat, a movie called The Secret, um, for probably 6 months. That's all that I heard when I was home making anything. That's all that was my background. The same movie, The Secret. And through that, and my church family that I had met through potlucks at my mom's house, because I'm not a huge church goer, but I do know I believe in one powerful entity, you know. Um, I just knew just had to let it just roll with it,
Yeah.
roll with everything that my intuition told me,
Mhm.
other than who I date, because that was never good. So I just gave up on that one because that was just a joke, you know, all of it, you know.
Yeah.
So you're a very great advisor.
Oh,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Um, can you mentioned something, beautybox.com. What is that? What is that?
So BUT Box is actually a take on my brands that I created on Lake Drive that I found the investor for. It was called B Aesthetics. Be brilliant, be bold, be beautiful, just be. Because I was living in an odd situation.
Okay.
And I worked for my sister and I knew all this about skincare now because that ended my life. I went from being a mixologist, working in all these places, to meeting a clown and having kids with him and knowing I got myself into a terrible situation, working for my sister. And so I was like, I have to do this and figure out how I can combat these people. So I started a skincare company in my kitchen, which was um, B Aesthetics. It was just B. And I found investors in a week, which is the the dollar 50 cent thing I told you about earlier, where she sold that company for $1.
Right.
So I was digging a tomato garden out front on Lake Drive, and I found a diamond ring. Kid you not. But there
Mm.
was twin tornadoes that came through here on
Okay.
Palm Sunday.
Wow.
Interesting enough, right?
Hmm.
That's where people are claiming. That's where their guessing came from. Because I dug down deep and I did it alone. It was hot as all get out. It was Memorial Day and it was a hot one. But he wasn't helping. He spent my money, you know, getting the supplies at Menards, but he was not putting these tomatoes in. So I thought I'm gonna go out and dig this garden. So I dug this garden. At the end of the day, I am raking back the grass and there's a ring. I thought, is that Viola's ring? I was like, that's not Viola's ring. I pick it up, I put it inside, I run inside, I put it in a cup of baking soda, I bubble it off, and it has a 14K stamp on it. I found it under the ground.
Jeez.
Yeah, so this is the whole story. This is why I knew I can't give up on my beauty
Yeah,
brand.
there you go. There you
So
go.
I messaged Natalie, who's also now known as Ruth Diamond, because I gave her an alias, because she wasn't sure if she wants her name on anything anymore, anyways. Because she was a funny story, but because she was going through that divorce or whatever. She was with her sorority sisters. So I sent her a picture. I was like, you won't believe this. At this point, she told me I sold B Aesthetics the day before I found the diamond. I sold B Aesthetics for $1 because Michael's getting 50-cent royalties on that $50,000 investment. Rightfully so, because we're not getting into that. But here's the thing. She wants to name it Ruth's Beauty Bar. And I thought, you're kidding me right now. Ruth's Beauty Bar. I'm never walking into a mall anywhere and seeing Ruth's Beauty Bar and jumping at that thing. Maybe now that I think about it, maybe that is what we should do, Ruth's Beauty Bar, but no, it's still not. Anyways, I find this diamond. So I sent her a picture. I said, you wouldn't believe I found a diamond in the rough. So Diamond in the Rough ended up becoming another brand I created. So
Okay,
that was the brand.
there you
Ruth
go.
Diamond was, so this is the beginning of it all, actually, back in 2013. She's like, shut up. And she's with her sorority sisters out in, I believe they were in Colorado doing their yearly meeting or whatever. And she's like, oh my gosh, Karey. I was like, wait, I found a diamond in the rough. So it was GITR Rare Skincare. I mean, I've spent more years with this woman, more time with her than I spent with anyone formulating this stuff. So your question, I kind of backtracked because that was kind of a really important story, I think, behind my brand. So what was the question again? You lost me.
No,
I apologize.
I was asking you about Beauty Box.
So Beauty Box,
Yeah.
that's all the products that I've created
That's all
over
the
these
products.
years, right? A lot. So it gets overwhelming to shop beauty. That's why Ulta Beauty, Sephora, all those stores make so much money because people just go in there and they splurge by, hoping for the next best fix. They do. I've watched it. I've been with people. I don't buy anything from those stores. I did back in my 20s. I bought perfume at Sephora. I actually sent the reason my sister started a mineral makeup company was I sent them some stuff from Sephora when it was first starting here in the US. And it was bare minerals. And my sister thought, I can make this because we come from a family of entrepreneurs. Like my family's from Prussia, we're immigrants, like originally. So nonetheless, Beauty Box just makes sense to me because I have 16 entrepreneurs underneath me in the Hopathekarey at my storefront in the Westwood. I do plan on closing the doors too because it's a money sinker. There's not, the foot traffic isn't there. There's no stores. So the people who are going to play arcade games aren't wanting to shop
Right.
Bath and Body. JC Penney's, they're at the way end. They've lost like 4 lights on their storefront. They don't care. They're just keeping it as long as they can. And I'm good. I've made my 2 years there. I'm solid. So I decided to try to do the box thing because subscription boxes are a big deal.
Sure.
Everyone loves a surprise box. I did test runs in my store. I had a mom of 4 come in one day and she bought 1 box. Went out in the mall, looked at her box, came back and bought me out. So I looked up BUT box, kind of a take on my old B
You go.
Aesthetics, right? And there it was available. I'm like, you've got to be joking me. So basically, it's starting small. You've got like the total tease box where you get what would be like $150 worth of products for $25. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to get a chance to try the stuff out.
Mhm.
But it's not just me, it's the entrepreneurs that I brought along. Like my Daisy, who has autism, she's high active, but she can't have a job because she paces a lot. You know what I mean? She can't stay on focus, but she makes bracelets really fast. So paying Daisy out to put a bracelet or whatever in the boxes is brilliant, right? You never know what you're gonna get from Daisy. She's amazing. I have a lot of really the entrepreneurs I've brought along. I have two ladies who are pour painters. Pour painting. I mean, I've done it. It's every pour painting becomes different. It's the, do you know what pour painting is?
Not exactly, no.
So it's a technique of painting, of art. I've done it. I'm just not I'm not a painter.
Okay.
Nonetheless, I have these two painters. They are awesome. They come from a background of being not Amish, but Mennonite.
Mennonites.
And they're these old lady, like older women that are amazing. And I've empowered them a lot through this, like even giving them the opportunity. In fact, on my Poshmark store, I got to pay Karey out $400 because for whatever thing I said, all of her paintings sold in one Poshmark live.
No.
And do you know how good that felt? She cried. That's how Lisa came along, her best friend. Do you mind helping Lisa out? But I mean, it's not always that lucky.
No,
And I don't believe in luck. It's just not always. It was just that day. That's how it was supposed to go. I was supposed to have Lisa on my team too. And so Karey got a good paycheck to do whatever. And Lisa ended up with her on this Hopathekarey journey. So the beauty boxes aren't just my skincare. It's people that I've met from the US who are artists in my storefront. So basically it's taking the cool franchisable shopping experience I created, Hopathekarey, with my skincare being the basis, and bringing these other small entrepreneurs along on the ride. So they make magnets, which are small enough to put into beauty boxes, right? Quinn, he's this crazy crochet artist, and he came to me with these potion bottles, and he said his therapist done them, and I thought, oh my gosh, your therapist sent you to me? I gotta say yes, because I'm not gonna be the one, right? And he was so nervous. And he shows up the next day with the potion bottles, and he has this crochet. Quinn sold so much crochet that Quinn became a new person out of my store. I sold it, but he sold it. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now he's going to be part of beauty boxes too. Like they're all really excited. I have a hula hoop maker, like those giant hula hoops. And for my Florida trip, I really wanted to take a hula hoop. So she created a collapsible one. She makes these glow in the dark puzzles. And they're these really awesome people out of Jackson, Michigan. 4 kids, and the kids are like the coolest part of their entrepreneurship. So, like, the beauty boxes aren't just me, it's basically my store in a box. You decide how big.
Okay. I lost you again for a minute.
Do everything on my own.
All
So,
right,
yeah,
well,
that's beautybox.com.
yeah, that sounds wonderful, and I wish you the best of luck with that. And you know, this
Poppyskin.com is the alpha beta topicals. That's the topical solutions.
okay. All right. Well, Karey, thank you so much for being a guest on the show today. I do appreciate it. It sounds like you've had a really interesting life, let's put it that way, and a lot of adventures. And I think that's part of what life's about, is we've got to have adventures. Even as we get older, we still got to have adventures. I know I still try to, so.
Business is business and it's growing, but you can't. I'm going to leave you with this. Alone, you're nothing
Right.
as a business.
That's
You
true.
have to bring people along and find the right people to help grow your business. And that is a thing. And that's why collaborations and podcasting and all of that is so important, whether it's a 10 o'clock at night meeting when the moon hasn't came up yet. It might be out there somewhere, but
Alrighty. Well, thank you again for
it
being
was a pleasure.
and take good care, and the best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.